creator spotlight. So we're going to be showing you some information about these books, man. All right. So for that being said, so Cliff gave us 5 books. I gave you 5 books. So we have a total of 10 books. Cliff gave you some more rarities. I gave you some more, keys. So, but either way, I think this is a fun little group of books. So, they're not in the order of the 5, they're in order of chronological order. So that's that. SP Card Fan. Let's go with C. So we got C is New York Comic Con exclusives in the 2025 Energon Universe Ashcan. We have added that into the pile.
And it's an ash can. I love it.
It's an ash can that's not the size of an ash can. I don't know what's up with that.
It's also, I'm just saying, and it's an ash can I'm not annoyed to death with. I mean, like, so that's immediately, it's thrilling.
All right, so let's go on with our first cover. This is the oldest book from the pack because, again, we're going in chronological order. I picked Foxhole issue number 4 from Manline. It came out in 1955. This has a high sale of $5,300 and a 6.5. That was done in July of 2025, this past year. The last sale of this book was $3,000 and a 4.0. Raws go for about $568 at good, while a graded copy is going for $4,000 at a 4.0. However, because those are the average fair market values, what's interesting about this one is that there's only 19 copies within the CGC census. I personally love this cover, especially during this time period. This is a war comic. It's a Simon Kirby comic, but it's a beautiful Jack Kirby cover to me. I personally love this Jack Kirby cover. It says so much with so little. You know what I mean? And that's what makes Kirby so amazing. This is before his Marvel, when he changed things in Marvel, really. So what's your thoughts on this cover?
No, I think it's great. I think it's very intimate. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't I feel like the eyes are a little off, but I'm not going to blame him alone on that.
I think the eyes are perfect, to be completely honest. I think it's from your perspective, from my perspective.
The eye on the right, mm-hmm. You think that this is that like I'm sorry, it looks like one eye is staring away from the other.
Well, he's going through war, man. Something's got to happen.
Well, I mean, if he's trying to portray the PTSD of war, especially back then when they didn't even know what the heck PTSD was, mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I could see that. And actually, that's really kind of the vibe I get when I look at this cover.
Yeah. And if you look at it, it's authentic, produced by veterans of the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. Yeah. So I'm just saying it's a great cover. I picked this one. I love the colors that were attached to it as well. I don't know who did the colors of the book, but to me, it's a great cover. It's not what you normally think when you think of Kirby.
Jack Kirby.
When you think of Kirby artwork, this is not the first thing that comes into mind, but it's also something where they're doing stories based off their past experiences dealing with World War II. This book came out in 1955, so World War II was about 10 years ago. So it's still in their mind. They're still thinking war comics were hot at this time as well. So that's our first book. Our second book was your pick, and that was House of Mystery 76. Came out for DC Comics in 1958. The high sale of this book is $660 at a 9.0, and that was in this year, back in May 5th, 2025. Last sale of this book was in August for $89 at a very good. That's also the fair market value for a raw. $660 is the fair market value at a 9.0, which is that high sale. There's currently 12 copies in the census for this book. All right, Cliff, this is your pick. You get to tell me a little bit about your pick.
Well, the cover colors on this book are done by Greg Theakston, Theakston, right? And there's a Prisoners in a Tiny Universe by Nick Cardy on the inside. Mm-hmm. The cover one, the artificial twin, is all Jack Kirby pencil inks colors. Although some of the colors are credited to Greg again, as of April 5th of 2008 by the archivist at GCD. So I got all the details, baby. I feel like this is like very Kirby and also like not quite so Kirby. I feel like the woman is like really like he's trying to capture something very realistic, but like the machinery in the background, the supercomputer, right? All that tech is very Kirby tech, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and I love it. And I honestly, I was on a mission of like, what covers do I love? Because I'm just so tired of everyone sharing the exact same Kirby stuff over and over and over. And this one was the first one that came to mind immediately. I was like, no one's looking for House of Mystery with Kirby.
Well, yeah, because
it's brilliant.
When you think of Kirby, especially in the 50s, you don't think of Kirby in DC Comics.
No,
just don't. You think of timely comics and things like that, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't go. His time in DC is most notably in the 70s, where this is a book that came out in 58, and he's working with Captain America books, which at this time is that they're in the downfall, and it's not really happening. So he is just doing work, and that's something that happened back in the 50s and 40s, 50s, and so they worked everywhere. Kind of in the same way they kind of do today, but they worked everywhere. It's all these guys worked as multiple times. What I find interesting is, like you say, it's Kirby, but it's not Kirby. Is the woman that's drawn multiple times in this imagery does not resemble anything of Kirby. The way I see Kirby.
I see more realism when he's drawing the woman, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and if there's one thing I'm not a big fan of, is I'm not a fan of the way he draws women. There's certain women that look good, but there's certain
Varda or
yeah, but like his Sue Storm, she got this huge cranium, man. I don't know what's going on with that thing, but
her and Crystal both. Let's be clear.
Yeah, again, it's not taking away from the greatness of his style. And what he actually brought to the table, which was, monumental. That's why he's called the king. But it's just, if he did more women like this, I would have loved it, because it feels more feminine. Where they more of his women afterwards didn't feel as feminine. That's probably what it was. It was like a dude with a wig.
Don't worry, we're gonna get a little Kirby blend on my list shortly.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to our next book in our list. And this was my pick. I had to add it. I think this is one of my favorite Kirby covers, and that's Avengers #4 that came out in 1964 from Marvel Comics. This has a high sale of $143,400 at a 9.8. That was in May of 2017. The last sale of this book was $1,440 at a 6.0. That was earlier. That was yesterday, in fact. Raws are going for $381 at good condition, which I think is a steal at that price. And that's the average at, fair market value. $870 for a 4.0 is the average for a graded copy. There's 5,697 copies recorded within the census. This is the first Silver Age appearance of Captain America. He's been thawed out out of the ocean. This is also the first Silver Age appearance of Bucky, as well as his death. It's the first appearance of the Silver Age Baron Zemo, which I think it's the second Zemo. Yeah, I just love this cover, man. This is everything I love about Kirby. Everything I love about Kirby is right there. No one does Captain America better, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's how I feel.
And so you do.
So what's your thoughts on this one?
It's classic.
It is classic. It's so good. It's like perspective is there. It's at an angle. Giant Man is still giant, but he's not as giant. You know what I mean?
I appreciate his ability to capture, to capture perspective. So
but
like
that's not a strong suit. It's not a strong suit of his.
No, but one of my choices is about his ability to capture perspective. That's for sure.
Yeah, it foreshadowing I think is what he excels at. The fact that he puts a fist in your face and things like that. I think that's one of his biggest strengths when it comes to foreshadowing. It's like it's clearly in this imagery, Captain America is charging in front of everybody, but
I want
everybody's
to know
doing
who
their thing.
snagged one for $381. I'm a little jealous.
381 for a good copy. That is what the average is. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's not terrible.
That's worth coughing it up, man. Especially when we're going to talk about another book later on today, going for more than that.
That probably doesn't deserve it.
I had my rant yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
I saw some of it, but I don't think it even, I think it pales in comparison to how I feel on the inside.
So I personally love it. And look, you even get some Submariner in the corner.
Oh yeah, because he's got a little guest star,
Yeah.
And really, first Baron Zemo, huh?
Yeah, so it is a I think it's the second Baron Zemo. It's not the first Baron Zemo.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that feels a little weird.
Yeah, so that's what it read in the credits. So when I read the credits, that's what it read. All right. And it's a cameo, by the way.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
Yeah, it's definitely a cameo. All right, our next book is I had to. I had to.
Oh yeah, well you love him. You love him. I get it.
The Mighty Thor 165. This came out in 1969 from Marvel Comics. This has a high sale of $23,600 at a 9.8. That was November of 2018. The last sale was also yesterday at $109 at a very good. However, the fine is going for $104. Those are the average prices. 8.5 goes for $360 on average. There's currently 3,887 copies in the census. This is the first cover appearance of him. As you can see right in the bottom, it's him, Adam Warlock. Now, I did not pick Fantastic Four 67 because I think this is a better cover than 67. My personal my personal flavor, and it's giving me my favorite character, Adam Warlock. So I had to add Adam Warlock into this page.
I get it. I get it.
You like the golden hymn?
Yeah, no, of course. It's well done. And is that Lady Sif being dragged away?
I do believe that is Lady Sif. Now, you know who he resembles here? And this came first. He resembles there's a movie called Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, he does. He does resemble Rocky, that's for sure.
Yeah. So could he have been and there's a lot of the same story. I think they took it from there. Could it be that Adam Warlock is actually Rocky? Is there a possibility?
Right, because
he came first. Is that something that we could fact check to see if that's a possibility? Who was the inspiration behind Rocky?
I don't think they.
No, not Tim Curry. Tim Curry.
No, I know. I mean, but I don't think they've ever Rocky Horror Picture people ever given the.
It's the same character. He got the haircut and everything. So we're gonna double check on that to see if that's the case. But now, more I look at this, because when Adam Warlock first came out, he was not the brightest of all characters. That came in afterwards, right? Because he's the type of character that continuously evolves. So, but at this time, he was kind of like, a Frankenstein monster kind of character.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. So while he does that, while Cliff is double checking some information,
I'm double checking 20 things at once.
Now. Cliff is my fact checker and all that fun stuff. Don't forget, we still got how many books we got left? We got 2 more books. We still got 2 more books in this pack. In this pile for today's duck race, we got D and we got E. So if you guys want to do that, and we got chimes going all over the place. All right. So I think it's time to go to our next book.
All right.
And our next book is Fantastic Four 89. This book came out in 1969, just a couple of months later, actually, from Marvel Comics. This has a high sale of $1,295 and 9.8. That was in January 2024. Last sale was $23 at a fine, and that was a few weeks ago, back in July 31st. Actually, a couple of months ago, actually. Raws are going for $14 at a very good, $249 at 9.4. There's currently 428 copies in the census. This does have a first appearance of a character named Slave Master.
Yeah, that's not something I want to advertise.
I know. When I saw it. I was like, okay.
I just want to point out that we talked about perspective. Look at the perspective here. The Reed's fist arching, Mole Man's staff. Sue actually looks good, right? Sue looks good here.
She does look good.
And the Thing has a very like worried look on his face. I feel like he's
because of that vase has to be worth thousands of dollars, man. If that vase falls,
this is shortly after they were forced to move for the first time.
And there's Crystal. Crystal's in the image in the bottom.
Yep, there she is.
There she goes. Sue got her hair's a little loose. She's
exactly.
You know, it's not pulled up like Crystal's. Crystal did some work on her hair. Even though I never understood Crystal's hair. Like, does she have like that's part of her hair, the black, right? Like, I never understood it.
No, that's a thing she wears.
That's like a tiara type of thing?
Yeah, because she's part of the royal family.
Oh, okay. I always thought that was part of her hair because you never.
It never occurred to you she's part of the royal family?
I knew she was. I always knew she was part of the royal family, but I didn't think of it as a crown.
A royalty thing. And remember, Jack Kirby was always inspired by our lore in the real world. So
yeah,
all the Inhumans have our world's lore like visually impacted on their looks, which I think is great.
All right. So this was your choice because of perspective, foreshadowing,
yes,
all that other stuff that came along with it, and you got some Mole Man.
And you got some Mole Man, which of course is appropriate. But really, I just felt like I thought this was just a great cover that's really showing off a lot of what's going on, and we just don't talk. We just don't talk about other Kirby covers. We just don't.
Well, there's so many, aren't they?
There are so many, and they're not all great. But like this one's really fun and active, and that's why I put it on there.
All right, moving on to our next book in our list, New Gods #1. This came out in 1970. This is Kirby in DC Comics. This is the time we know him for. This has a high sale of $3,339 and 9.8. That was in August of 2021. So during the comic book boom. Last sale of this book was only $34 at a very good. And that was also yesterday, December 1st. And $38 is the average for a very good, the fair market value. $394 and 9.6 is the average fair market value graded. There's currently 2,992 copies in the census, and this is the first full appearance of the New Gods, which also includes Orion, Light Ray, Metron, Highfire, and Calabac. Also an appearance from the one and only Darkseid. Yeah, and yes, there is a reprint. There's always going to be a reprint of this one coming out soon. I got to see the pencil work for this book this weekend, and it is phenomenal. I love what Kirby was doing, what his creativity during this time, because he was doing this thing where he was doing collage work as well as the artwork. He was taking these risks that, granted, he wasn't probably allowed to take when he was in Marvel, but he kind of did it anyway because he did it in Fantastic Four. But it was at this time he felt underappreciated in Marvel, which I understand completely. And he, the guys at DC said, "Why don't you come over here, do your own thing, and let's see how it goes." And I think this was the first of the bunch. What's your thoughts on this time during DC, and what it really meant in the world of comics?
Well, he got to flesh out that New Gods lore that we're still talking about today. The man could mostly sell books, although like New Gods made it like 2 years, I think.
Yeah, it didn't have a big time frame because it just, I think they gave him too much.
Perhaps,
you know what I mean?
But people are constantly we constantly go back to this. I would dare to say that perhaps this is a bit ahead of its time.
I think it was ahead of its time. And today we're really going into, I know the whole James Gunn thing is dealing with gods and monsters. So we're going to see New Gods in the James Gunn DC universe. That's bound to happen.
We're getting the Miracle Man.
We're getting Miracle Man. So they're coming. It's an animated show, but we're eventually going to get live action New Gods. we kind of did during the Snyderverse, but it really didn't. It wasn't able to flesh itself out the way Zack Snyder really wanted to. My personal opinion is I think there's something in the New Gods. I think that's also the reason why we're gonna get a Jimmy Olsen story, because Jimmy Olsen was somehow Kirby took Jimmy and did some work with him as well. You have the New Gods, the Ferrera people, Demon, what's the name? Clarion.
The Witch Boy.
The Witch Boy. All that stuff is from Kirby's world, which is they called it the Fourth World. And I think the sales weren't really there as much as people thought they would be. The reason why this book is so low in price is because it did had a bit of a high print run. People were excited for Kirby. They were excited for Kirby. So it does have a higher print count than other books. That's why you could get it at pretty remarkable prices. It's not an expensive book, to be completely honest. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But it's still a great cover. I love this cover. It's one of my favorites. Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, it's a great cover, and you could almost feel Orion coming at you, right?
Yeah,
like bursting forward at light speed.
Hey, Daniel. All right, let's go to our next book in this pal, and that is, I mentioned the Demon Entrigan.
It's another one of your choices, by the way.
It's another one of my choices, and I got to see a blacklight version of this, and I couldn't help myself. The Demon, 1972 for DC Comics. This has a high sale of $5,640, 9.8. That was in September of this year. The last sale of this book was $37 at a fine in November 29th. This book raw goes for about $51 at a fine. On average, $193 on an 8.5 is the fair market value for this book. It's one away from 2,000 copies in the CGC census, and this is the first appearance of the Demon Intricate, who I personally love, and I do believe it's somebody's favorite character.
Whose?
Mark from Legion of Comics.
The Demon is his favorite?
I know this for a fact.
Interesting.
Yes. What's your thoughts on the Demon Intricate?
Oh, I love it. I love the rhyming and everything. Gone, gone, form of man, arise the Demon Etrigan. My first encounter with him was Action Comics Superman and Etrigan.
Yeah.
And they were in a crystal city that was made of humans, so every time a piece of the city broke, human blood was dripping, and Superman's like, oh my God, what is this? Which is great. I like Superman and supernatural stuff where he's like, this is so horrifying. And Demon's like, yo, I got this. We're fighting Morgan Le Fay. And he's like, yeah, we are.
You know what? I love the animated series when they did it. They had him in Justice League. I thought it was great the way they portrayed him. He's such a cool character. He's just a great character. It's a yellow demon, of course.
And by the way, I also enjoyed him in Brave and the Bold, the series. I thought they did a great job with him there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen a bad portrayal of him ever. So because he's just a cool character, he's a fun character. He's a demon, but he's not a bad guy, which is the best part about him, right?
Yeah. Well, the Etrigan is bound by the spell.
Yes.
Etrigan is not particularly cool at all times.
No, exactly. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Justice League is what I got introduced to him, or couldn't even. Yeah, he is one of my favorites as well. I think he's a great character, and I think what Jack Kirby brought to the table with this one, he was getting a little bit of medieval times flair with this character, but this character is still part of the DC universe, and it brought a new. It wasn't part of the New Gods. This is one of those characters that wasn't part of the New Gods, but it was part of okay, let's have Jack do some supernatural stuff, which he really didn't do that much of, right? Because his stuff was more bombastic superhero stuff. He did a lot of Cosmos stuff, things in the Cosmos with Fantastic Four. Steve Ditko was the one that was really handling Doctor Strange and stuff like that, where Jack was doing more of the superhero characters. So it's nice to see him trying within the superhero lore, and I think Demon Intricate was definitely a successful character to
Well,
this
also,
day.
it leaned into horror too. So like,
Yeah.
he was doing a lot here.
And at this time, DC was excelling in the horror genre because this
Yeah.
is the 70s, man. This is Bronze Age. This is a character that I believe deserves way much more love that he has right now. But I think for those people that know him, he's getting all that love. And for a price point as this low, I'm gonna look to find this book. This might be one of my wish list books for
Ooh.
2026, because we are going to talk a little bit about that in the next couple of weeks. What are our wish list books? We'll talk about what we want for Christmas, but we're also going to be talking about our wish list books. So you've been warned, Cliff.
Oh no.
Get ready. Okay, let's go to our next one here. And this is a Cliff book, which is Marvel Premiere 26. This book came out in 1975 for Marvel Comics. This has a high sale of $1,247 in 9.8. That was in July of 2022. Last sale of this book was $6 at a near mint. What a difference a 9.8 versus a near mint copy is.
Right?
November 2025. You can get this book for about $5 very, very good. $73 is the average for a 9.8. There's currently 86 copies in the census. Here's the key fact.
What a beating this book took financially.
I know. Like, who is the dummy that bought it in the first place for $1,247?
You know what happened.
I know exactly what happened.
Love and Thunder came out, and people and somebody lost their mind.
Someone spent a little too much money on that book. It is his first solo series. It is not his first appearance, but it's the first time he has a solo adventure, and that guy is probably beating himself over that he spent over $1,000 on a book that you could get for $73 today.
I'm telling you, that's
that hurts, man. That hurts a lot.
It does hurt.
Right.
Marvel Premiere 26. Ouch.
What's up, Kenneth Burr? All right, talk to me about this book.
I love the cover. Like, first of all, he's fighting some kind of vine monster thing, right? Hercules is like looks super jacked, right? Who the hell is chasing him with that axe? Is it friend or foe? Right? I love it. I love everything going on. Again, the woman in the background is not terribly done.
No.
So like, it's got a lot going on for it. It's definitely a striking, it's a striking cover that makes you go, "Ooh, what's happening here?"
Yeah, I agree. I'm digging the vines. Because, again, the vines are bringing a little bit of depth into it. This is my example of when it comes to his anatomy. His anatomy was not his strength.
No.
Though he did understand foreshadowing. He knew how to hide things. If you look at his right hand, I don't know what's going on with his hand. Like, you see his fingers?
Well, the vines are there. The vine creature is doing.
Yeah, but they're doing all sorts of things. It's almost like as if he has a six. He has a six finger there. But it's not AI, guys. Trust me, it's not AI.
Dude, I looked up the one that sold.
Yeah,
and like, it's just insane. So this one sold 9.8 at $1,326 in 2022. Then immediately after, a heritage auction took place where a 9.8 sold for $432.
Wow.
Then on eBay for $269 in 23. Then in 2020, early 2024, it sells for $325 on eBay. And then it plummets back down in price. And now more recently it starts to tip back up towards like $180. That is crazy to me. Holy cow. Unbelievable. Oh, a 9.8 just sold on eBay in May. Pretty low, folks. Hate to tell you. So,
how much was it?
$84.
$84?
Yep.
Ooh.
I mean, again, I think that this is a fine collectible, especially if you really do dig Marvel's Hercules. There's lots of 9.2s, 9.4s, 9.0s out there that are in a very reasonable price range.
Yeah, but even a 9.8 at $80, come on, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I'll pull the trigger for that. it's his first solo story. It may not be his first appearance, but it's his first solo story. That got to count for something.
I feel like it does.
You know, it's his first time. It's his first time that his name is on the title, so it's technically his book now because you demanded the Prince of Power in his own Olympian mag, even though it's a comic. It's not a mag; it's a comic. He's the man god Unchained.
I love it. I just think it's well done. And it's the first time we really get to dig into who Hercules is, not just this dude that shows up to have a fight with Thor.
Yeah.
You know.
And who knows? Maybe it might go up in value once we get to see this guy return, if he does.
Oh, I hope he does, because I love him.
You know what I mean?
You know, I love the dude from Ted Lasso.
All right. Let's go to our next book in our list here, and that goes to Iron Man 94. This came out 1977 for Marvel Comics. This has a high sale of $149 at 9.8, and that was in April of 2023. Last sale of this book was $7 at very good, and the raws are going for about $5 at a very fine. $38 at 8.0 is the average. There's currently 141 copies in the census. This is also a Cliff pick.
Of course it is, because it's not a key by any means. It's just a great cover. It's very Kirby, right?
Yes.
This dude that is attacking him looks almost like Calabac. There's Kirby crackle galore. It looks like he's beheading Iron Man. All the Kirby tech around it, you know, very fourth world, and there's people in danger. And the title implies that they are underwater and out of their depth. And I own this book, and I pretty much the day I bought this book, I bought it because I was like, oh, look how cool the cover looks, you know?
Yeah.
I love the bright striking color on it. I am sold by the Kirby Crackle. I wanted to include something that featured Kirby Crackle uniquely. So, and I find the earlier issues of Iron Man under issue 100, you know, to be a bit of a fun find. I'm going to leave it at that.
Cool. Metal Elf, what's going on? How you doing? Good evening to you, sir.
Good
all right. You're right. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, but it's all good and it all works. Even with the color scheme, like, you know, they usually have say in the color scheme and how things work.
Yeah.
What's going on? Is this guy a pirate?
No. This is like he's like a intergalactic villain, you know. By the way, that was another thing. Kirby just loved to throw Iron Man in space, you know.
Well, why not, man? He got a suit. He got a suit that could probably handle it.
Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of Iron Man comics that are about like, oh, you're in space, but you're in trouble again. You know.
How do you take care of Iron Man? You just take off his helmet.
Yeah,
because he'll die in space.
So, like, yeah, this guy is Commander Kraken, right? You know, I mean, he's a cybernetic pirate.
He's a pirate, okay.
Yeah, he's a cybernetic pirate. I mean, it's just crazy, but it's fantastic. I tell you, fantastic. You know, it's good old fashioned outrageous Iron Man. You know,
cool.
I mean, Jack Kirby on it. I don't remember who wrote it. Oh, Herb Trimpe and Jerry Conway wrote this.
I was gonna say Jerry Conway has had.
Yeah, but also Herb Trimpe. So there we go.
Yeah.
You know,
but I take it Kirby only did the cover. He didn't do the interior.
Oh no, Kirby did the cover, and Herb Trimpe did the interior.
That's what I would figure. All right.
But this was so cool, and I noticed that the water is coming in and starting to drown them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I like how the you see kind of like the, I don't even know how to describe it, but that you see that white line that kind of like differentiated through with the color scheme.
Yes,
that's the part that I'm taking notice of more than anything. I also noticed that the pirate has a metal foot.
Yeah, he's got that metal foot. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so there's that. All right,
I mean, he really. I think this is just such a great cover. It just captures.
Release the Kraken.
Yeah, Commander Kraken.
Commander Kraken. Okay, let's go to our next one here. Our next book is Superpowers issue number 2. This was part of a 6-part miniseries that came out in DC Comics in 1985. High sale of this book's $170 at 9.8. That was in August of 2022. Also, last sale of this book is $8 at Very Fine. That was the last sale, which was not that long ago. $6 is what you get a fine. $170 for a 9.8. 17 copies in the census. Another Cliff pick.
Yeah, and I know y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, and I get it. But when I was a kid and buying superpower toys, I loved this crazy Kirby series, and there was like 3 of these series, right? And but anyhow, I love this cover. Like Calabac looks like Calabac, Hawkman looks like Hawkman. Everything's going on. Like, tell me this is not a beautiful cover. It is a beautiful Kirby color.
And that is Calabac. I like Calabac.
Yeah. You know, Calabac is like got the Beta Club. He's on the attack. Hawkman's like, oh no, he's got the freaking flail mace in the hand. I love it. I love it. I loved it. It is a childhood love. You could see.
Well, it is superpowers, so it is part of the Super Friends, you know, Hour of Power comics, which I personally love.
Collection.
I personally love that series. The what it was, the Galactic Guardians they were going by when they introduced Darkseid and the New Gods.
That was the Superpower show is when it's Darkseid, and then the final season is Galactic Guardians to Superpower show. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but there's all of that.
They're thinking all sorts of things. I love, my personal thing is when they would do the Boom Twos, that it was like a star.
Yes.
And it'll just walk in the star.
Yeah.
So this is a cool one. It's nice to see Kirby doing a Hawkman. But what I'm noticing is that where Calabac very much looks like a Kirby, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the musculature of Hawkman, even his facial expression, it doesn't feel Kirby. It feels like someone else was doing it. It almost feels like this is like a mashup of artwork.
It is, and I'll tell you why. Because it is Kirby's work. It's Greg. It's again, by the way, Greg Theakston. Let's find out more about this guy because he's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Greg Theakston on inks and Joe Orlando on colors.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, of course it's gonna feel like that, but I think it makes a great cover. I think they knocked.
Oh, I'm not denying that the cover is great. It's that what I'm seeing is I see Calabac, and Calabac is very Kirby, right?
Yes.
Hawkman doesn't feel Kirby.
Yeah, I don't know if you look at the muscular.
I'm looking at it. Maybe in the hands, but not in the deltoids and the arms and things like that.
Again, we could just argue that the inkers and the colorists, like, you know,
I think the inker had a lot of freedom.
Possibly, but you know,
I think Kirby went, yeah, you do this. Okay, let me get the next book. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking to myself. All right. What's going on? DVH is in the house.
Dr. Von Who from the Spiral Dimension.
All right, here we go to our next book. Oh wait, that's it. That's the list. That was 10. Wow.
We did it.
We did it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. This was fun, man. I like doing this. We'll do some more of these. I have to get back to getting some more stuff, more creative spotlights, and I think me and Cliff haven't done a creative spotlight in a while, so I figured it was a good time to do one. And why not do one on Kirby? You know, it's a little different than normal, so it's not like the keys. Because we'll be here. Let's be honest, we'll be here forever if I did the keys. So, but we did pick some of our favorites. Tell me in the comments if you're watching on the replay or you're watching the clip. Tell me in the comics what are some of your favorite Kirby comics. I will love to hear them. So, thank you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.